I'm Beth Farnsworth in the News Channel 3 studio, bringing you breaking news. We want to update you on a situation that started about 8 hours ago in the town of Santa Paula. This is when a vacuum truck, the rear of a vacuum truck, exploded. We've got a live shot now. We've got a crew down at the scene there. We've got officials updating folks on the numbers of injuries, the large plume, the toxic substance that was thrown after that explosion, impacting that nearby community. Let's listen in for just a moment.
Environmental issues, which were cleanup, and so our environmental health department took that major objective for cleanup and remediation of this incident, looking downrange. And so that's really kind of a brief of where we're at right now. We did choose to change or relocate the incident command post to a much safer location, a place where we can actually get to work and have these type of briefings. And so with that, I'll leave it with PIO Mike Lindberry for our next presenter.
Our next presenter will be Commander Monica McGrath, Ventura County Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department is handling protective actions and investigation.
Good afternoon. I'm Commander Monica McGrath, West County Police Services, Ventura County Sheriff. As a commander, my last name is spelled M-C-G-R-A-T-H. Our role in the Unified Command is to work directly with all the agencies to look at public safety, look at evacuation, both mandatory and voluntary evacuations. At this time, we have a 1 mile radius of evacuations put out at this time with our staff. Also with CHP, California Highway Patrol, assisting with road closures on 126 freeway. At this time, we also responded to the incident at 03:45 hours where there could be a potential of a criminal investigation. At that time, we did report necessary documentation in the event of a criminal investigation. So that is part of our response at this time. Thank you.
Steve Carroll, Administrator, Ventura County Emergency Medical Services Agency.
Good afternoon. My name is Steve Carroll, C-A-R-R-O-L-L. I'm the Administrator for the County's Emergency Medical Services, in charge of the ambulances and the medical system. We have been on site since early on with our ambulance responders, and then also ourselves since about 6 o'clock this morning. We initially had a few patients that were here at the site, and then those patients were transported to the local hospital, and we had a number of victims that started complaining of symptoms that they were exposed to the patients that were transported to the hospital. So since then, we've increased to a total number of 28 patients that have sought treatment. All of them are relatively minor irritation, throat, respiratory, and eye irritations. They're all being evaluated by our local hospitals. We're also working closely with our public health department and all of our local hospitals to ensure that we are capturing any other additional patients or citizens that show up to any of those facilities. Make sure that those are also being evaluated. We're watching that very closely. We have had a few patients show up at a few of our other hospitals, and those are also very minor in nature, but are being evaluated, and we're of course working with public health to address any potential risk for public health. Thank you.
Okay, and finally we have Jim Wada, Hazmat Supervisor for Ventura County Environmental Health.
Hi there, Jim Wada with Ventura County Environmental Health. I'm the Hazardous Materials Supervisor. It's J and W88. Environmental Health's role.
Jim, can you speak up? I'm sorry.
Environmental Health's role in this project is, when it's safe to enter, is to work with the facility and their hired contractor to work on mitigating the spill.
Jim, can you or someone else address what type of facility this is? Is it public or private, or what is this facility?
Well, you jumped on it, Alex. We're going to go into Q&A now.
Okay.
So why don't we start with that, Jim?
As far as I know,
Please, Jim. I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
Santa Clara wastewater company, as far as we know, takes in material from their various sources, and they take material and either clean up, filter, or whatever they do, and they properly dispose of that. I believe goes into the sanitary sewer. I'm not sure about that. Again, our role as environmental health is to inspect and oversee chemical storage and handling.
So it's a private company that just handles hazardous waste.
Yes.
What's the name of the company again?
I believe it's called Santa Clara Wastewater Company.
Do you know the cause of the explosion and the spill? Has anyone figured that out yet?
Andy Ortega, as far as the cause, we don't know what the cause is. We have information that this vacuum truck went and did what it was supposed to do. It brought product up from 5 or 6 different locations throughout the county, and they come and transport this product to this facility, which cleans up these type of products, and then they ship the solids away, and they put the other stuff in the sewer once it's all cleaned up. What we know about this particular thing, once it mixed somehow, some way, 3:46 in the morning, it exploded as it was coming into this facility. And at that point, that's when it initiated a response, an emergency response. So that's what we know.
And you don't have any more details on the chemical?
Oh, details on the chemical. Here's what we know. Other than it just being a mixture of waste products, the hazard identification that we came up from the hazmat team was there was oxidizers inside of this, and there's some kind of waste inside of this. So to be specific when it mixed, no.
Was it a thing where like it spread to other things that caught fire, like
That's a good question. So as this product in this vacuum truck exploded, obviously the chemical or the liquid type of product, this mixture product, leaked all out. So, imagine a Coke can being shaken and bursts out, that type of thing, right? The answer is yes. So it's all around the facility. And the facility is known to have some hazardous chemicals, acids, those type of things. A whole list of those type of things haven't come up to command yet, but we're identifying those products within the facility.
And those caught fire afterwards?
At this point, we expect that some of those have, as well as tires and other things that were on the ground. But we're not certain of exactly which products have caught fire or were involved in that initial spread.
You're calling it organic peroxide.
The organic peroxide the peroxide was really based on some of the HAZCAT testing that was done prior this morning from the original product. So whatever that gunite, that white-looking stuff, whatever it was, that's what we pulled off of that. So that's really part of the mixture of this, what was inside the vacuum truck. But that's one of the hazardous chemicals, or that's one of the hazards of the chemical. We didn't necessarily say this was what this was. It was in there.
So it would be correct to say you're not positive the type of chemical it is, but some sort of organic peroxide is part of the mixture.
Yeah, we're positive it's a waste mixture, but because this truck does what it does, it pulls waste out of several different sites, and once it mixes, then it's hard to really determine what it has become rather than what it was. And then once that's on fire, it's hard to determine what it's liberating other than your toxic gases or acid gases, those type of things. So,
What would you tell the public if they're concerned about breathing?
I'll let Steve Carroll handle that. It's a good question.
What was the question again?
I've talked to some residents and they're concerned about breathing it. They're like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how it will affect me. What would you say to them?
So the main issue is to stay away from any obvious smoke or chemical. If you smell it, you're too close. But being that we don't know exactly what it is, we don't know exactly what the threat is, and so we're working closely with public health and with hazardous materials and environmental health on that. So the main thing is if they can smell it, stay away. And it is fairly isolated at this point as far as the spread. So folks that are in neighboring communities, we're trying to tell them this is not something that is affecting outside of that. We have a 1 mile range right now that they're asking people to stay out of, and then if that needs to expand or decrease. We'll be doing that as the day goes on.
Still that 3-mile shelter in place?
It's downwind.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is a good point for a little information on that. If the public wants information on this, the public can call 805-465-6650 or go to bcemergency.com, and information is being fed to those. And this is for the public information. This is not a media line. Continuing, any more questions?
Was there any, is this truck that had to go through regular inspections? Is there any violation that were, that you know about now? And is there a history of this company or truck that might, any occurrences in the past?
Jim?
This facility was inspected recently, and I'm still looking for to receive the inspection report. Talking to someone who did work on the inspection or participate in the inspection, there was no violations during that time of inspection. So this is regarding hazardous material, hazardous waste.
Is this a routine substance that they're using? That this chemical is this normally? Is it regulated by the? What regulations do they have? By the state or federal?
Well, the material that they had on site of whatever explode. This facility here, as far as mixture, they bring in non-hazardous waste. That's what they're charged with. They do have hazardous material, hazardous waste storage that they are on the permit and they're inspected for. But that particular mixture occurred or had an explosion, that we don't know. Again, the facility says they take in non-hazardous material.
When did you say that last inspection?
Approximately 2 weeks ago.
So during the last inspection 2 weeks ago, everything was fine.
As far as hazardous material storage and hazardous waste.
And that was at the whole
Okay, some good information coming from this press conference that's taking place in Santa Paula for those of you just joining us. This is regarding an explosion that occurred. It was a vacuum truck. The rear portion of that truck exploded this morning about 3:45, and it was entering the facility, the Santa Clara Wastewater Company. We have since learned that that truck was hauling a mixture of waste products, and for some reason that combined with organic peroxide, they're not exactly sure what all that truck had. They know for certain, though, waste products were part of it. It did explode, spewing that material out. They've got a 1-mile perimeter now that is being, if you will, canvassed by health officials and emergency officials. A 3-mile shelter is in place for folks who do live by there. We've also learned that there are 28 patients so far now, people coming into the hospital with minor irritation, their eyes, their throat. They are being monitored. These injuries, if you will, are being considered minor, but again, these folks are being monitored at the nearby hospital. Again, don't know the cause of this, although we also heard from Monica McGrath with Ventura County Sheriff's Department earlier talking about how this could be a criminal investigation. So looking at all different avenues in terms of this explosion, what the cause was. We've got a phone number up there you can see on your screen. It's area code 805-465-6650. That's for public information. If you know somebody who lives in the area very concerned, you can call that number. You can also look at vcemergency.com for more information. Again, those are public information numbers and websites for you to look at. Again, this vacuum truck explosion happened 800 block of Mission Rock Road in Santa Paula, 3:45 this morning. At least 28 people were injured, mostly with some irritation of the eyes and throat. Emergency officials also injured during this. So we do have a crew on scene. We will get more information, but we will be following this throughout the afternoon. You can also look at our website, KEYT.com, for more information. Now we rejoin our program in progress.